Hello again and welcome back. In the last session, in the introductory section, we talked about social media and how we shouldn't be framing it around the surgeon or the surgeon's practice, but that we should be framing it around the patient and how we can utilize that for their benefit. We also spoke about the unnecessary fear around social media. We spoke about how social media should be just like a regular tool that we have in our toolbox, and we need to be able to use social media for our patients' benefit. So now we're going to talk about the epidemiology of social media. There are basically three significant trends in society that I would like you to be aware of and how that will impact our practice in this modern world. The first trend is the trend of mobile phone utilization or internet utilization, sorry, not mobile phone, internet adoption over time. So the graph shows basically 86% of those above 18 are online. And in our patient population, the lower line, 65 years and above, 60% of them are online. So there's an increasing adoption of internet over time among all adults. The second trend is the increasing trend of the use of smartphones. The middle graph shows that the desktop or laptop adoption has remained stable over the last 10 years at 73%. However, if you notice in the first graph on your left, smartphone utilization has gone up from 35% to 68% in a matter of 5 years. And that's the second trend. So more and more people are owning smartphones. The third trend that we need to be aware of is the trend of the number of adults using social networking site. So this graph essentially shows that 80% of all adults are today on social networking sites. More specifically, if we look at those if we look at those graphs, 50% of those 50 to 64 are on social media networking sites, and even in the age group above 65, about 30%, 25 to 30% of them are on social media, on social networking sites. Now, these three trends are pretty significant. So, majority of adults are on internet. More and more of them are having smartphones, therefore internet access in their pockets. And thirdly, many of them are on social media. Most commonly used social media platform would be Facebook, 58%, followed by LinkedIn, Pinterest, Instagram, and Twitter. This social media utilization in the majority of our population is not only happening in North America or Australia and the UK, but it's happening even in Africa. The middle graph shows that 11% of all people in Africa are active social media users. Now, you think 11%, that's not very high, but that translates to 129 million people on social media network. Now, that is 3 or 4 whole Canadas, 3 or 4 whole Australias almost. And they're all on social media networking sites. Now that's pretty significant, and that would affect their behavior in terms of health seeking. So some of these graphs here essentially identifies that for all smartphone users, about 60% of them would have tried to look up an information about their health condition. 41% had their condition confirmed by a doctor. 35% of all adults have used the internet to try and figure out what medical condition they have or what another person that they know or their family members have. 53% of online diagnosers talked with a clinician about what they found online. So the accessibility to social media essentially allows a search of health information online in a very, very significant way. The next paragraph is very telling as well. Among those who look for information online, 16% in the past year have looked for someone else who might have the same condition. 26% of internet users have read or watched someone else's experience about health or medical issues in the past year. So this is pretty significant. What this tells us is essentially that most of our patients, by the time they see you, they would have looked up their information online and they may have even found someone else with the same condition online. Now, how does this change? Does that mean that we have to stop giving advice? Now, the interesting finding that follows from this as well is that even despite them having access to health information online, a huge proportion will still rely on doctors or healthcare professionals as the significant reference point in their health journey. The last time you had a health issue, did you get information, care, or support from a doctor or healthcare professional? 70% says yes. Patients still rely on us. 91% says times when professional matter the most, an accurate medical diagnosis. So patients still rely on us for accurate medical diagnosis, for prescription, for alternative treatment, advice, for recommendation about other doctors, specialists, or other medical facilities. This is significant in terms of patient information seeking behavior. They look for information online, but they still want to speak to a doctor to verify it. In terms of numbers, this was presented at a Canadian Society meeting. So 8.5% of all doctors are on LinkedIn or Facebook, all Canadian doctors, I should say. 8.5% of them are on LinkedIn or Facebook for professional reasons. Only 3.6% on Twitter. This means, in essence, that our patients have moved. Our patients have moved to the next room, to a different postcode, to a place where there is Wi-Fi connectivity, where there's huge information sharing. Our patients are not only looking for their information, health information online by themselves, they're also finding other people with the same health conditions, or they're actually creating community groups of people with similar medical conditions. This means we can stay in our room that has no Wi-Fi connectivity, or we can move in and see the communication or the discussion that's happening in the other room, where there is a huge amount of sharing of information, sharing of experiences, sharing of reviews among communities of patients with health information. So remember that by the time patients see you, they would have firstly looked up their information in their through their smartphones in their pocket. They've looked up their health information, they've looked you up most likely, or they've looked up your health facility, and they may have already found other people with the same health condition. And that means for us, in summary, that we can no longer say that you should not be Googling up your health condition or finding information on the internet. We should be seeing these patients who have searched for health information themselves as patients who are engaged and empowered, and that we as doctors, as the significant reference point, should be the ones helping them through their health journey before they see us, when they see us, and after they leave from seeing us. And this is where the role of social media comes in. We'll see you in the next talk.